What does it practically mean to feel happy, to feel whole, to feel alive, and have what you need and what you want to make changes in your life to get there? What does that look like in a realistic way? Hello, listeners. We're Happy Go Moody podcast with your hosts, Vivian and Natalia. And today we want to explore the question of self care, self love, and what can we tell you that's our experience, right, Natalia?
Yes, let's do this.
So, to me, I think the biggest thing ever is feeling that you are enough. I don't think we feel we are enough. And feeling we're enough and accepting that your life is a unique expression of who you are. And when I say unique, I mean it. Like we have a one of a kind experience, all of us. So it's so valuable. And I think because of this uniqueness of who we are, there's no need to prove or to explain or to battle others in order to show people that we are enough. So I think that's a start for me, at least. I think I spent a lot of time in my life not feeling like I was enough, and I didn't even was aware of that. And then I spent a lot of energy trying to prove myself, and that is in a way kind of damaging. I feel that when we come to accept our story as ours to shape, things have a different flow to it. I don't know. What do you think about that?
No, I agree. I think I spent a long time of in my life just chasing for what do I need to do next, and I think not only me, but I know a lot of people keep looking for approval or thinking, okay, I need to be this successful or have this house or this car or this family or whatever to feel like you were something, to feel like you got there, you are where you want to be. But this is just for me, it's just like you're always chasing for the next step. At least that's how it was my whole life. Is like, okay, now I have to go to college and now I have to get a job. And then you're in that job. It's like, now I need a better job. Now I need to have a house. I need to have a husband.
Yeah, it's following like it's kind of following these preset templates that existed before we arrived, right? Like
Exactly.
the life that's like it's not a unique expression of you, but it's a formula that was created and it's in place for a reason. I mean, these things do serve some people, right? It might not serve you or me, but I completely understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like I kept like chasing for this ideal life that, like you now have a family, you now have a house, you now have a job. The funny thing is, it doesn't matter where you are or how far you got, you always feel like you have to keep looking. Okay, what is next? Now you need like a bigger house or you need a better car. Or, and
Mhm.
then one day I was just like, okay, stop. You know, when am I actually gonna stop and enjoy and just be happy instead of just chasing for the next thing? And that's when I realized that what I wanted to do is really feel, I just wanted to feel good. And I like good feelings. I think there are good feelings and there's bad feelings, right? So happiness is a good feeling. Jealousy or envy, that's a bad feeling. And I don't want to feel those things. And we all do because we're all humans and we have good feelings and we have bad feelings. But I start working on myself to try to feel more good feelings and less bad feelings, if that makes sense. And yeah,
What you're saying is like for yourself, I guess you wanted to improve certain feelings that you felt like they were not favoring you.
yeah, I just think certain feelings are not adding. They're not making you that. Yeah, they're not just adding to my life. And I always, since the beginning, I always chased to be a better person. I always wanted to be a better person. Like, and Mother Teresa, I mean, I think you say Mother Teresa, right? She was, she for me was always a role model since I was like a little kid. I was like, one day I want to be like her, selfless, helping others. Yes, that she was always like my role model.
And when you're little,
And yes, I heard about her when I was, I don't know how old I was, but when I heard about her, like, she is amazing, and then I start like, wow, I wanna be that. I wanna be able to help selfless people. And I made I'm talking here like, wow, she's a good person, this Natalia girl. But no, I made a lot of mistakes and I made a lot of bad things, right? And I probably hurt people on the way. So I'm not even close to be like Mother Teresa. But at least wanted to be something like that. And I always try at least to improve. And the thing is, throughout my whole life, I made mistakes, I hurt people, and then I felt bad about that, and then I had to learn to forgive myself, and that's a big thing. How can you love yourself if you feel guilty, if you know you did something bad, right? And then you feel like you deserve to be punished. I don't know. Some people have different feelings, but one big step for me to be able to like really increase my love for others is for me to increase my love for myself, because it's easier for you to love others if you love yourself. And for me to love myself, I had to really learn to forgive myself for all my mistakes. And for mistakes, I still do, right? We all make mistakes every day. And I'm not saying, oh, it's okay, I'm going to go there and make a mistake on purpose. No, that's not the point. It's just like if you say something is stupid, next when you realize, okay, I shouldn't have said that because maybe I'm making someone feel less, or I don't know, then you just forgive yourself and work on it. And I don't know. So I've been looking. So the searching for self love is something that is very important for me, because I think if you, for example, you're scrolling through Instagram or Facebook and you see a post of someone, and instead of feeling, oh, that's so nice, look, this person has been to this place and is having so much fun. If instead of feeling that, I'm feeling, oh, shoot, this person on vacation, I wish I was on vacation. That's not a good. I don't want to send that energy to this person that just posted that. I want to send that person just happiness, and like, be happy for them. And if you look at the post, instead of being happy for them, you're jealous. That's because something inside of you is saying that you are not happy with your life right now. There's something missing, right? You need to fulfill that. And that's what I was working on it. I want to get those feelings of jealousy or envy away. And to do that, I really have to approve of my life and who I am, so I can be happy for others. That's why I said, to be happy for others, you have to be happy with yourself.
I have a question for you. I understand what you're saying, but to me, that is the tail end of like the lack of self-love. Is like the result of a life lived where I was never taught to love myself. I was never taught of my value. And so my question to you is that, like, how can we as parents of small children um reassure to them or teach them that they must love themselves. They must value who they are. They have a voice and that voice is valuable. How do you have anything that you put into practice with your daughter? Because I think in our generation we are both like children from the 80s, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there was that awareness, and the result was like you kind of, I don't know about you, but I didn't have a voice growing up. And you're told many things just because of cultural and religious and all these like norms, where they put children in a certain space. And so how do you change that pattern now for this generation that you are raising?
Well, when I was a kid, my parents always told me how much they love me and how pretty I am. And but somehow when I was a kid, I never really loved myself. I told you I thought I was ugly. I didn't really. I was like, oh yeah, I am amazing. I'll say it like out loud, but inside, that's not what I felt inside, right? I had this big lack, and I was not happy with who I was. And today I'm happy with who I am, and I know I still have a lot to learn. And as I said, I still make mistakes, but I do try to do my best. And I think everyone is always trying to do their best, and that's all we can do, right? And for Emma, because I want her to have self love, I want her to love herself. I do some, I do exercise that I started when she was a little baby. Like, since she was a baby, I would put her in bed, and I think I told you that already. But we would say she could not speak at the time because she was a baby. I was always say like, "Thank you for my daughter. Thank you that she's so smart. Thank you that she's so kind. Thank you that, she's so loving and she loved others and she's so loved by, me and Jason. And we do that and then she start talking, and now she does that. So before nighttime, we always say thank you for everything. And one thing that I always say is like, thank you that Em is so loved by mommy, by daddy, and by herself. And then every time I ask her, hey Emma, who do you love? Sometimes during the day we talk about love, and it's like, who do you love? And she's like, I love mommy, I love daddy, I love Emma. And when she makes mistakes, I think empathy is something very big. So I try to, if she says something or she's mad about something, instead of giving her like a lecture on something, I try to be with her. Like, she says, I don't know, maybe she's having a tantrum because she really wants to not take a shower today and she has to take a shower. And then she's like throwing a tantrum. I don't know. I, instead of like, no, you have to because of this, I go next to her. It's like, hey, I'm sorry. I understand taking a shower sometimes is a lot of work, and that means you're not going to be able to play. Is that the reason why? And I get it. You don't want to take a shower. And then she says all the things what the reason why she's upset. She's like, yeah, I wanted to play now, and now I'm gonna have to take a shower. So we can talk through. So I think that helps too because you show to your kid that you were there with them, right? And you understand what they're going through.
Well, you're giving her a voice, right? And you're giving her a chance to explain why doesn't she wants to do something that is in your daily routine. Simple as that. I think that's important, but what you're saying, some are actions and some are words. In my experience, um children, they emulate a lot of the behavior of their parents, and they learn way more from experiencing behavior than being told this or that. Um and we are in a world that, in my experience, I practice self-love, and I practice
Yes.
um creating my own way of living. And I have to say that that itself is like swimming against the current. You know, people don't praise you for doing that. If you don't feel well for whatever reason, and there is a family commitment, and you are expected to be there, but you tell them, I don't feel well. Simple like that. I don't feel well, so I don't think I'm coming. My head is not in the right place. I don't think I'm coming. That is a problem. At least in my family, in my direct family or my husband's family, there is an issue then. The behavior of the parents go a long way. And I think I want to bring something up actually. Our friendship is as strong as it is today because we do give space to one another to, one, make an appointment that we are going to cancel later, make an appointment of a time, even for these recordings. Sometimes,
Yep.
actually most of the time, both of us, we are like, yeah, let's meet Tuesday at 10 a.m. I'll text you, at 9:30. Can we make it 10:30? And later, can we make it 11? And there's never a reaction like, what the fuck, I was waiting for you at then. It's like giving each other room to make a mistake, to make an adjustment. Of course, this is just an example, right? I'm not pro leaving people waiting for me, and I know you're not either. But so I think a lot is in the behavior of the parents, and the behavior of the family around the parents, and the behavior of the people in school. So I don't think it's a world that's catered for you to cultivate self-love, self-care. How many times, like, you even after the pandemic, people will get jobs and they want to work from home, and that's just not a possibility. Or, there's many examples. I didn't get what I'm trying to say.
No, I get it. I think our friendship is so strong too because I think you learn, right, how to love yourself, and you are in a point that You know self-love is important, me too. And I think when the person has self-love and you really love itself, it's so much easier for you to love others and have compassion. And like what you said about giving each other space, if you have I think they lack a lot in a lot of people compassion. And I keep saying compassion, compassion. You have to have compassion towards others. And if you have that, you are going to give them their space. You instead of nagging people, instead of, like judging, gossiping, have compassion. And the behavior, I totally agree that behavior of the parents reflect more on the kids than the words. So one thing that I didn't even know I did, and Jason brought it up to me, and I thought this is big. He's so right about that. Is that one time I tried some clothes on to go out, and Emma was right next to us. And I looked at myself and was like, oh man, this looks horrible. Look at my body. I don't like it. I look ugly in this clothes.
Oh.
Jason pulled me aside and he's like, "Hey, I don't like." I said something about like I look fat. I said something like that, and I'm like I'm a skinny person, right? But like sometimes you just feel bloated, and I just didn't feel like okay. And then I said like, "Oh man, I look fat in this outfit. I don't like it." And then Jason pulled me aside. He's like, "Please, can you not say things like that in front of Emma? Because I don't want her looking at you and you saying those things, and she's gonna think that that's that you have to act that way, or if someone that is like technically skinny like me saying I look fat, that what are you teaching your kid, right?" And he pulled me aside and said that, and I was like, oh man, he's so right. I have to be very conscious about how I treat and what I say about myself, in front of my kid. And that's where I started really trying to do a little bit more of a positive image for my body, because growing up, especially in Brazil in the 80s, the body and appearance is a big thing. And then you kind of like grow up just learning that, that you're just not happy with yourself. And I had to just accept my body and accept who I am, and the way I act and stuff, to be able to teach my kid to learn those things too. But I'm only able to teach her if I actually feel that way. Otherwise, how can I teach her self-love if I hate myself? This is hard. That's why I said I've been searching for self-love. I had to learn to forgive myself. I have to learn to love myself, to be able to actually show that to her, so she can understand that and she can love herself, and and then we can love others. I think, I'm not a big religious person in Bible and stuff, but I think there's a passage in the Bible, and people can correct me on that, that someone said, or Jesus said, I don't know, that if you give the shirt for the other, if you're wearing one, if you have two shirts, you have to be wearing one and then you give to the other. You don't take the shirt of your own body to give to the person, because then you're not going to have a shirt, something like that. And whoever knows the Bible,
Really? I didn't know that. Well, I'm not a Bible reader, but so that is a great point though. That is an excellent point. This is mental health self-care? Yes, right? My psychologist always says you cannot, it's like being in an airplane, the masks, the how do you call it? The emergency masks are gonna fall. You need to put yourself first, put it on yourself first, and then you offer to the people next to you. So I don't have a kid, so I'm not gonna help my kid, but I'll help whatever kid is besides me. I'm not against that. It doesn't need to be a cat, it could be a dog, it could be a pig. Many things are flying nowadays. But I grew up with a mother that hated her body, that had a huge effect on me in so many different ways. I That's one area that I actually struggle and I'm working on it. I've been in therapy for, you know, a considerable amount of time and I made a lot of progress, but my self-image is something that I struggle with less than before, but it's still like a big obstacle. That being said though, I have learned to love myself. I used to not like my hair growing up as a little kid, I feel like I was trying to be this like photocopy of what I thought it was, what I was taught that was beautiful by TV or by men's judgments like my dad or like uh my uncle. So I really had to go outside of me to please others, to prove to other people that I was as good as what they thought it was good. And to me, that was very harmful. So I think the first couple of times that I start realizing, like, that is fucked up, because I would dress up with I'm not a girly girl, and at the time, like, growing up in my early teenagehood, I would dress up and wear something a little bit with more of a heel and wear tight clothes, and, you're in a very hormonal state, so you wanna please boys, you want boys to look at you, and at the same time, you don't want them to look at you too much, so it's a very confusing time. And I felt like a clown. Literally, I would dress up and feel like this clothes makes me look like a clown because I was actually betraying myself and what I really like to wear. So to me, it was a slow learning process from that moment on. Um, it's been a long time since my teenagehood, but yes, I going back to what we were talking, I think that we first need to love ourselves and understand who we are so we make decisions that are favorable to our growth. And then we can then look at the other person being our partner, our parents, our friends, our kids, and offer some compassion because it's easier to understand what they go through when you understand who you are and what you've been through. But it takes some work, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it does. I think a good exercise that I just came up with.
Yeah,
So let's see if it
just
works.
now.
Not just now, because we're talking about as you're talking about your uncle, you're talking about that. I was just listening to you, and I think a good exercise if you're because a lot of people may be listening here, or maybe two people are listening. That's okay, and are gonna be thinking, okay, but I love myself. Like I'm happy, and I do love myself. But if you don't know for sure, or if you I don't know, just thinking about it now, never stop to think about it. Think that, do that exercise. Is there anything in your life you're doing right now to get approval from others? Like you're gonna go to a dinner with some friends or to a party. Are you putting this clothes or are you putting this shoe or the hair, whatever? Are you doing anything to get other people approval? Or are you doing that because you're feeling good on that? Are you chasing for a career for other people's approval so people can look at you and say, oh, look at her, she got this? Or because that's going to make you happy? I think that's a good exercise to understand. Are you doing this for you or for others? Because every time you're doing something for others to get approval, is because something is lacking inside of yourself. Because if you really truly love yourself, you don't need anyone's approval. And that took a long time for me to learn. But I think, and I'm not like 100% there yet, but I do understand now that I just recently quit my job, that, and I it was very hard, and I did think like, what do I want to do? What do you, Natalia, want to do? And I don't want to work here anymore. I was working there, and I quit, and I was like, yeah, but they are not gonna like, and what people are gonna say? You're gonna be unemployed, and you're gonna be like, and I had to really stop and think like, why am I looking for people's approval on what I am gonna do? What is gonna make me happy? So I had to shut down all those voices in my head that is not really talking to myself and listen to what I want, what would be good for me, what do I need? And I needed a break. I needed that. I was like, I need to concentrate in my family. I need to concentrate on my life. And that's the best for me. And it was hard. But once you can shut down those outside voices and they're like people approving of your behavior, that's a big step. And that's hard sometimes. But I feel that if you are happy with yourself and you love yourself, it's so much easier to not feel jealous, to not feel irritated, to not feel, envy. And you can just spread love easily if you are in love with yourself. But if you don't love yourself, how can you love others? It's like, how can you feel the love for a totally stranger person that comes next to you? Like, how can you love them? It's hard, right? Um, I don't know. My goal in life, yeah, my goal in life is always to love and that's another thing that is also in the Bible. And I remember my grandma would always tell me, you have to.
You're so Christian this
I know,
episode, girl.
right?
You're like a Christian superstar.
I know. No, my grandma
Ah,
used to say that to me, and it really bugged me because she said somewhere in the Bible, again, I don't know, I never read the whole Bible, just FYI. So but somewhere in
I
there,
don't think many
I have.
people read the whole Bible, Natalia.
I don't know a lot of things that are in there, but anyway, she said something about you have to love your next, right? I think in Portuguese you say your próximo. You have to love your next, the person next to you. And I'm like, who the heck is the next? Is that my husband? Is that my
Oh,
parents?
you have to love your neighbor, I think is
Your
here,
neighbor in English. Okay,
right?
in
Like,
Portuguese is the
yeah.
próximo, which is yeah,
Yeah, then the person next to you,
the
but I
person
think
next
here
to you.
is
Yeah,
like love your neighbor.
love your
Yeah.
neighbor. And I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean? And I think now I understand. And you always bug me because I always ask, like, who the heck is the neighbor? Like, who is it? And now I understand as whoever, whoever is right next to me. Like, if I'm in the train, the person that is there in the train with me, that's my next. And that's the neighbor. And how can you love someone you haven't met yet? You don't even know. What if this person is a total asshole? Sorry, my language. But it's like, and I had to really, and I really wanted to practice that. I want to love everyone, but it got so much easier to understand that and to act that way if I start really loving myself and being with more compassion inside of me. So I think it's hard if you are hungry, if you're tired and you're in the train, how the heck can you love the person next to you? Right? Because you're not feeling the love for yourself because you're freaking hungry and all you can think about is a burrito. You're going to be mean to people?
Well, that's another thing about self-care. You see, like, because to me self-care also comes to the basics, which is I'm hungry. If I recognize that I'm hungry and I do get a little moody when I'm hungry, I'm going to watch my interactions and I'm going to make sure that I have a bite to eat. If I am sleepy, and that's a big one for most people, like when you are like overworked and you don't sleep enough, you don't rest enough, you become quite difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
Because you're putting on other people. You start, I think happiness and unhappiness, they are contagious. So if I'm unhappy, if I'm irritated, I'm going to spread that around unless I cultivate the awareness that, oh, right now I'm very tired and I feel irritable. So I'm going to watch my interactions and I'm going to make sure that maybe I'll take a nap. Maybe I'll stop working a little earlier. I'm going to go to bed earlier. Maybe I don't have that option. I can take a nap. I can stop working. What can I do to ease into my day? What can I do to like create some space to rest? So I think that's also a very good point on self care. Like, yes, you can be shit. Listen, I don't want to love everyone like Natalia. I don't care. I love myself. I love my family. I love my friends. If I'm in the train, I don't
Uh,
necessarily want to love the person sitting next to me, but it doesn't mean I hate them. I'm just like, cool, you're there. I'm here. I respect your space. You respect mine. If you don't respect mine, it's not something I should, it's not a big deal. I can move. Um, so, it's like we are all different. Natalia wants to love
I
everyone. I
do.
want to love just some people. But self-care is take care of your hunger, take care of your body, take care of your mind, take care of the environment around you. That is such a huge thing for me. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you. I'm in my husband's office because we're still creating spaces in the house we live in. We haven't lived here in a long time. But I made the office look nice with plants and like, a chair to sit on the side, a desk. And to me, that makes me feel good. Therefore, that makes me perform better. And if I'm on the phone with someone having a conversation, if I'm recording a podcast, if I'm on in a meeting, I have a state of mind that's like clear and focused because I'm in an environment that it's cultivating well-being for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I think one thing that we've been talking about, like self-love and self-care, is just a lot of people see this as a constant, right? Okay, you get there. I love myself. Okay, I'm done. I already love myself. But That's something that,
No, no,
yeah, you keep.
no.
I can love myself right now, and in 2 minutes, maybe I don't anymore, right? So it's something that it changes. It's like, yeah, I love my daughter always and forever. It doesn't matter how she acts, I love her. But do I act with love towards her? And sometimes I don't, right? Sometimes I'm angry and I may not acting with love towards her. Maybe I'm being mean to her or to or my husband is easier to say because I'm way kinder to my daughter than to my husband. I love my husband, but sometimes I am irritated or whatever. I am not acting with love towards him, right? And that's the same thing we do with ourselves. So just so you understand, just loving yourself, not something, okay, I got there and that's it. I love myself. I'm done. No, it's a everyday, it's a work in progress. You're always doing that. And our body has feelings, right? We have a physical body and we are hungry sometimes, we are tired, we need to pee, we're cold, and there are so many different feelings that our body has needs, and we have to fulfill those needs. And when those needs are not fulfilled, it may, change our mood. So this is very, very important, and it's something so basic that some adults, they still don't get it. It's like sometimes I'm at work and this person is like so this person that is my friend is acting so mean and doing something, and I'm like, "Are you hungry?" And then they stop like, "Yes, I am." I was like, "Okay, did you realize you're being like an asshole right now?" And the whole reason why is because you're hungry. It's like you have to be self-aware of your needs, of your body needs. And that's a big one for me. If I'm hungry, I get mean. So I know that I try to carry a snack with me so I don't get mean, right? If I am tired, I know a lot of people get mean when they're tired. For me, it's weird. If I didn't sleep, let's say I spend the whole night awake. The next day, I'm gonna be depressed. You come to me and you say, "Hey, Natalia, how are you?" And I'm like, wow, I think she doesn't like me. Her "how are you" was a little weird.
Oh my
I get
god.
super extra sensitive. If I'm
You
tired,
get
I am
oversensitive.
yeah, totally. Oversensitive. I think everything's like, "Oh man, they don't like me. Oh no, what did I do?" I get super oversensitive if I'm tired. And different things, different needs cause different feelings on me. So if you master those and you understand what they are, you're like, "Okay, wait. It's not that they don't like me, it's just I'm tired. It's not that I am irritated right now because I cannot do this, it's because I'm hungry." And then once you get that and you can like improve and get a little better, and I think it's a work in progress and I keep working on that. But yeah, I do want to love everyone. So
Yeah,
anyone out there,
you're
if
crazy.
you are working on yourself,
I love you. Get ready. We're gonna get romantic
yeah,
now.
no, yeah, get ready because I
Everyone
am
out
super
there,
easy.
you are loved. You are
Yeah, if
seen.
you are looking for your self-love, just think that if a crazy person called Natalia that doesn't know you thinks she can love you, I think you can do that too, right? I just believe
Mm.
that. And there is more people
Dude,
like
I
me,
think
so
that give it a couple of days. Excuse me. Give it a couple of days. I'm gonna break Natalia. She's not gonna love everyone. She's gonna be more realistic. Okay. I'm all for supporting our listeners, but I don't know. I don't buy this thing that she wants to love everyone.
I do. I that's what I want, and that's what I try to really do on my day-to-day life. And I fail. Yeah, sometimes I fail, sometimes I'm mean.
Of
We
course,
all
because
do.
it's not possible. We can love
Well, we can
everyone.
try.
We can love some people.
Yeah,
Some people is
I
fine, Natalia.
it's not fine. It's not
Just
fine.
some.
It's not fine. I
I'm
wanna
just
do it to
kidding.
everyone, and I know it's hard, but I don't know, if you love yourself, I think you can love others, even if you don't know them. That's why
I love myself as much as possible. I don't love everyone, Natalia. What are you trying to say?
I tried to say that that's what
No,
I
I think
want to
everyone is
achieve.
different.
I know, I get it, I
I'm
get it.
joking. I'm joking. Calm down. You can love everyone. Uh I no, I get it. I get she is like that, people. Natalia, she's in training to go to heaven. That's the reality.
I don't believe in
She
heaven.
wants to go to heaven really bad, and she
Uh,
is doing
Honestly,
everything
I don't
possible to
believe in
get.
heaven, so that's a thing. I don't
You don't?
know. I
I didn't know that you didn't believe in.
no.
I don't believe in heaven. I
Well,
don't believe in Christianity.
yeah, let
So
me put it this way. I don't believe in heaven the same way people believe. Like there's a has heaven and a hell. That's no. Heaven for me is a state of mind. Yeah. Heaven for me is a state of mind. and you can be in heaven on earth and you can be in hell on earth. No, you can be like where you are right now, your house, you can make it a heaven or you can make it a hell, you know? And I just that's for me what is heaven. And I don't think that if you don't accept Jesus, you don't go to heaven. I don't think that. Because if that's the
Okay.
thing,
No one said that
I just
that you believe
yeah,
that.
that would not be
I
fair.
just wanted to
Like,
clarify.
I don't wanna go to a heaven that most of my friends are not gonna be there. It's like, "No, thank you." You know? I
Oh
don't
my god, your friends are bad people that Jesus doesn't love, Natalia? Is that what you're trying to say?
no,
Are you talking about me, Natalia?
no, I wasn't talking about you,
Is
that's
this
funny.
directed to me?
No, I said people who don't accept because a lot of the Christians say you have to accept Jesus to go to heaven, right? And I don't think I I don't think that's I mean, I have a lot of friends that don't believe in Jesus. Like that doesn't mean they're not, like
Yeah,
that's
but
just
this is
yeah, it's a
this is
conversation
a
for another
conversation
day.
for another day,
But
people. We're Jesus was
yeah,
not invited
yeah.
to this episode. So,
I do, by the way, I am not a crazy Christian, I guess, like people would say, but I do believe in Jesus. I believe in him, but I don't believe if you don't believe in him, you're not gonna go to heaven. So I am a little I mean, I don't know, a weird
Natalia,
Christian, I
we are
guess.
talking about
I don't.
self-love. So, focus. Um did Jesus loved himself?
And then you start talking about heaven. I was like, what?
Oh my god.
Let's talk about Mother Teresa. That's better.
Yeah.
I think she had self love, but I don't know. I never met her in
I
person.
don't know much about her, but I think, you were saying like, oh, there are days that I don't act lovingly towards my daughter. And to me, like, there's a difference there. Like, I think I can love myself. I learned how to love myself. But some days I don't like myself, but I still have the underlying love in the back of my mind that, like, because I'm working on it actively, weekly. So, I love my husband always, but sometimes I don't like him and I tell him, like, you're pissing me off, gotta go away, give me some space. I think it's okay to have a day off, that you are off. You are not acting in the best way that you can. You're not even towards yourself. I think you
Of
are
course. Yeah.
like what you said before, like it's not like, oh, now I love myself and everything is wonderful and she lived happily ever after. There's no such a thing. So it's like a constant work, and it's hard work, but it pays off. It's so good when you feel yourself, and you feel like grounded in your own love for yourself. It's a very fulfilling feeling. um
Yeah. Fulfilling is the word. Because I think I feel a void or I felt a void for a long time in my life. There was a void inside of me. And that void is fulfilled, when I am meditating and I'm like I am in a good moment right now and I'm in love with myself. And I say in love with myself is I really feeling that love right at that moment. um then it's like that void is not there.
in your life, on a day that you're feeling off, a day that you're like, I love myself, but I don't actually like myself. Like that day that you were in front of the mirror thinking like, oh my God, I look awful and I look fat while, you know,
Yeah, I think okay, other than meditating, I try to do this every day. Something that, to bring myself to center again. And you can call meditation or prayer. Sometimes it's more kind of like meditation, sometimes it's more like prayer, but it's one of another. I do when that happens, and especially when Jason pulled me aside and I realized, oh shit, I shouldn't have thought that or said that. I try to think, okay, why am I feeling this way? Am I hungry? Do I really need to pee? Am I stressed out because I don't want to go to this place? Because there's always a reason behind why you're acting that way. For me, at least, I always find the reasons like, no, it's not that I feel like bad about this, is because I just, this dress is really not me. I hate wearing dresses. That's one thing. So sometimes it's that like it's not representing me. I'm wearing this dress because Jason liked it or because someone else liked it. It's not me, so I just have to change clothes. Or is because I really don't want to go to this event and I'm going kind of like force or something. So I try to understand the reason behind it. And a lot of the times it's like, okay, I'm off because I'm hungry. I'm off because I'm tired. I'm off because I'm not happy with this situation. or because you're too, I don't know. There is always something else there that it causes that. So I try to just, whenever I realize I'm off, because sometimes you don't notice, right? So you can act on it. So the most important thing is to identify, okay, something is off here. And when you identify, you try to understand why. And then you just try to work on the reason, the root cause. And if the root cause is, I just really need to freaking pee, then I stop everything and go pee. There you go. It was easy, but I just didn't realize that.
I would go even further because besides the your like body needs, like using the bathroom, eating, resting, if that's complete, that's not the area that's lacking. I have days sometimes that I just feel depressed or I feel enraged.
Just want to kill everyone.
I just want to kill my husband and bury him in the yard. It's just like one of those days. Sometimes it's hard for me to pinpoint what is it. Sometimes it's not, but no matter what, I do take some days to just be like, I feel shitty and I feel shitty. That's it. I leave throughout my day feeling shitty and I accept that feeling because we are not going to feel good all the time. And I take that moment to see like what does it feel, to feel like off and to go through my day and try not to offend anyone, try not to argue with anyone, try to be nice to my pets and my plants and my environment because you know it's a struggle. It's not all daisies and la di da. So I do have depression. I have anxiety. I am on medication for it. But medication is great and it helps you, but it's just a step into like, okay, this is gonna help me so I can keep working on myself. So I definitely have days that is not my needs in terms of eating, sleeping, and using the bathroom. It's I feel shitty and I have to take that feeling and embrace it and give it attention just as I give attention to when I feel happy and I feel like overcome with the feeling of happiness. Sometimes I feel overcome with the feeling of sadness. So I feel like, you know what? Sadness have been with me since I was very little. So I might as well just hold its hand and go throughout my day. Because if I am sad and I'm sad often, clearly sadness wants my attention. So, and I noticed that the days that I give it attention, being that I'm just going to be quiet and feel sad, I'm going to read a book today, I'm going to go for a walk on my own and feel sad. When I carve this time to give sadness some attention and I look at my sadness and say like, "Hello, friend. Uh nice to see you again." Is it nice? Maybe not, but I'm going to lie to it because I wanted to feel welcome. It happens so less often when I do that, It happens so less frequently. So that would be my tip is like you have a bad feeling. Even you mentioned jealousy, right? That we feel jealous sometimes. That's not my personal struggle, but if you're jealous, invite jealousy for a cup of coffee. Have a conversation with it. Like, what's up with that? Like, why are you feeling this way?
Yeah, that's perfect. So I love what you said. So I think the more you work with the feeling, the more you can understand and be there. And I learned compassion through that. So it's important because if I hadn't that had a feeling, maybe I wouldn't have had, so much compassion in my heart. So for me, compassion and love, they walk hand by hand and they are very important. And those are the two feelings that I try to feel the most. But as you said, there are days that it's just off. It's just I don't feel it. That's okay. And that's okay.
Hmm. Yeah. I think all our feelings they have a role in our lives, and but somehow, for some reason, we live in a world that classifies. You see a lot in this time where we are a lot on Instagram, YouTube videos, and this and that, TikTok. It's all the happiness and the good times is portrayed, and the rest is like shoved under the rug. But we are all human beings, people. Like if I'm sad, if I'm depressed, if I am angry, all those feelings, they have a role to play in my life, because if they didn't, I wouldn't be feeling them. So I think it's very important to befriend our feelings and understand what they are and what is their purpose in our day by day life.
I think the message that is important is it's okay to not love yourself, but it's good to work towards loving. And we were just so busy with the life that we have with the daily things, and I have to work, that we forget sometimes to just take a second for us. And that's one of the main reasons why I quit. I was like, I need to really focus on me. And
I think this is a changing world too. I will say I'm skeptical of the world being a better place for us all, but I will say there is a huge wave of the desire to create room for everyone to be included. We see that with like LGBT rights, women's rights, like minorities' rights. I am pro all those things. I think it's so important to welcome people as they are, to live in the world. We are, it's not America or Brazil or India, whatever place you are. The world belongs to us as long as we belong to it. And we all have the right of some like space for ourselves. So I see, like, don't you see like this desire to change, this movement to like, let's be all inclusive here.
yeah, and I love that. I love that.
I love it too, and I think people are learning to love themselves this way. They're fighting for other people to understand that they love themselves and that's who they are. And I am 100% pro that, and you have our support, everyone. You
Yeah.
have our support, and I mean it. I support the inclusiveness to all, being that I'm not a Christian, but dude, you're a Christian. Power to you. Does that religion make you a better person? So go for it. Like, do you go to the, you know, Macumba in Brazil? Awesome. Does that make you a better person? Keep on going. Like, you don't believe in anything? Great. Are you like transgender? Awesome. I feel like we all have a little room in the world, and we all deserve to love ourselves. I don't care if my neighbor loves me, if you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, am I contributing to this world? Am I different? Do I like, I feel the happiest actually when I'm creating my own world, when I'm creating things my own way. I'm not a person that was born to copy my parents or my grandparents' lives or great grandparents' lives. I chose to live a life that's different because I could see that the recipe they used, the ingredients did not work for me. When I put those ingredients in the little, bowl and mix them up, it came out like a bad taste bread. And I want a bread that I can taste and is delicious. So I am not using the same ingredients. But if I'm just saying, like, make your own recipe, make your own recipe, go out and express to people. That's my recipe. You're going to find your way. You're going to find people that
Yeah,
understand your recipe and are like, cool, I'm going to add some of those ingredients on my bread too, so go for it.
I agree. I'll say learn how to forgive yourself, have compassion towards yourself, respect yourself, love yourself. And once you did that, you're gonna learn to do that towards others, and others are gonna learn to do that towards you too. Because who can respect you if you don't respect yourself? So,
So I believe that that's been our Happy Go Moody podcast for today. Don't forget to love yourself, carve a little time, look at yourself in the mirror, say it to yourself, I love you, beautiful thing.